Hey, blockchain visionaries, I'm George Levy. I woke up this morning and I saw that Bitcoin broke 50,000. Right now it's at over $51,000. And I got to admit to you, I'm very glad that I got into the Bitcoin space way before it hit the $50,000 mark. But dealing with people every single day who are looking at getting into the Bitcoin cryptocurrency space, many of them are asking me, is it too late to get in? In this video, I'm going to present to you the evidence of why I believe it's still not too late for you to get started, but even better, the steps you may want to take to get in safely and securely. And just like that, Bitcoin broke $50,000 per Bitcoin. It's actually very exciting to see it happening. It's not the first time that I've been in a bull run, but maybe it's your first time. And I want to give you a little bit of feedback and a little historical background of how Bitcoin behaves. Now, I can't promise you that this is how it's going to behave forever, but I will tell you how it's been before. And in the process, you'll learn about some of the ways that you can actually work around these bull runs so you can actually take the most advantage of them when they happen. So let me take you a little bit back as to why we are now at 50,000 plus. By the time you're watching this video, it might actually be considerably higher, or maybe it's lower. You don't know with Bitcoin, but what I can tell you is at this precise moment, we broke 50,000, we broke 51,000, and who knows where we're going to be heading. But I'm going to tell you how you can actually get into the action so that you don't actually look back and say, if only I'd gotten in while it was still cheap. I'm going to give you a secret. In Bitcoin, it's never cheap. It's just a matter of where will Bitcoin go and how you handle that. Let me tell you exactly how we got here, look back a little bit, and tell you where things might be headed. Okay? So if we look at the most recent news right now, Tesla just bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin and plans to start accepting it as payment. This is huge because Elon Musk is a very, very well-known personality. A lot of people trust Elon. Elon's been talking about cryptocurrencies for some time. Talked about Dogecoin, talked about different types of cryptos. But to see him take a gamble of $1.5 billion, which is around 7% of all the cash that Tesla has available, and place it in Bitcoin is a huge vote of confidence for the cryptocurrency. So when people look at Bitcoin, they say, well, if Elon is taking such a huge risk, it might be worth for me to get into. This is one of the reasons why the price of Bitcoin has shot so high. So if you look at it right now, Tesla plans to buy, or actually bought, $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. This is actually in their SEC filings. It's actually written. It's public knowledge. And they're planning to start accepting it as payment. I've actually written in a previous video when I found out that this was actually happening. I'm in the process right now of buying a Tesla. I actually have a deposit in place and I might consider buying it, maybe paying in Bitcoin. I don't know. That being said, it's good to know that Tesla is now giving the option for people to buy things in Bitcoin. And what I got to tell you, this is very exciting because it opens up a whole new world of possibilities, and it really, really bodes well for Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency. So let me take you a little bit further. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Many students have been writing to me and viewers of my videos have been asking me how they can get started in Bitcoin. In fact, they're seeing all the activity with the price of Bitcoin rising and things like Tesla buying $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they don't want to be left behind. So I'm going to tell you right now a very easy, safe way that you can get started with Bitcoin. Now, what I'm going to give you is not financial advice. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. What I'm telling you is what's worked for me, worked for countless students in my courses. Even my father has taken this approach successfully. And what you really need to do is you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. You can actually buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, and you can do so using Coinbase. Now, many people, if you go to Coinbase, you can actually buy Bitcoins from Coinbase, but using a very special offer link that's available for this viewers, and I'm actually presenting it on the screen and including it on the description to this video, you can actually get a free account at Coinbase. You can get your free cryptocurrency wallet with Coinbase, and you can buy $100 or more of Bitcoin and get a bonus $10 of free Bitcoin additionally. So think about it. You can get started with as little as $100 if you buy Bitcoin with Coinbase using the link that I'm presenting you. And additionally, you're going to get an extra $10 worth of Bitcoin absolutely free. Now, this offer is available only using the link below, which I'm also including in the description. But take advantage of it because you can get started very, very quickly and safely using Coinbase like millions of people around the world and like me. And you can do it in the process of buying $100 or more of Bitcoin and get an extra $10 worth of Bitcoin absolutely free. So I hope you'll take advantage of it. Use the link presented here. And let's go on with the rest of the video. If we look at the cryptocurrency market overall, and this is coinmarketcap.com, what you have is a viewpoint of the entire crypto market. As you'll see right now, as of the moment of this recording, Bitcoin is at $51,340. Now, Bitcoin is only one cryptocurrency out of more than 8,400 cryptos as of this moment, and that number keeps climbing as new cryptos come out. But the brunt of the cryptocurrency market is Bitcoin. As it stands right now, coinmarketcap.com says that over 60% of the market is Bitcoin. Now, if you look at Bitcoin, before Elon Musk actually made his announcement that Tesla was buying $1.5 billion, Bitcoin was at less than 40,000. Now, in just a few days, it's actually been maybe a week, it's at 51,000. And it's a really, really exciting time to be able to see that growth dramatically. Now, mind you, the interesting thing is that if you actually had gotten into Bitcoin before Elon made that announcement, you might have gotten in at under 40, and now you would have made well over $11,000 in earnings just in that time span of 1 week. That's how Bitcoin works. The volatility is really dramatic, and when it shoots up, it really shoots up. Now, that really brings it to you. What are you waiting for? Why are you not into the cryptocurrency space, and why aren't you inside Bitcoin? Let me take you a little bit further of historically how this thing has played out, especially since I've been riding Bitcoin for a very long time. If we look back, we'll look at the history of Bitcoin. And what you're seeing here is a chart of the history of Bitcoin, actually going as far back as CoinMarketCap actually tracks. So as you can see, they started around 2014, and then you see the growths. You see the upturn at the end of 2018. And actually at the beginning of 2018, it was 2017 heading into 2018. You see there was a huge bull run, and then we have a drop. And then we see this really, really dramatic growth that's happening right now in 2021. But let me take you a little bit back historically so you see where things are going. If we really look back at Bitcoin, when Bitcoin started, Bitcoin had no value whatsoever. It literally was like video game points. You had your computer, you racked up these Bitcoins so your computer would actually be able to mine, and you would just get these like Bitcoins, and they were just like literally video game points. They didn't have any value. You couldn't trade them for cash. You couldn't do anything with them. Everything changed when a man named Laszlo Hanyecz actually bought 2 pizzas. And he bought those 2 pizzas and paid 10,000 Bitcoins for those 2 Bitcoins. Sorry, for those 2 pizzas. So if you really look back at those 2 pizzas at the price, that was around $25. So if he paid 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas, which were worth $25, that means that every Bitcoin was worth approximately a fourth of a penny. So it was 4 Bitcoins for every 1 cent for those 2 pizzas. That was the first time that Bitcoin had any value whatsoever. So at that time, the price of 1 Bitcoin was far less than $1. Now that stayed at under $1 for quite some time. When we got around the timeline of 2013, Bitcoin started getting some value, and you start seeing that it was around $100. And it started getting some value. It was actually getting some attention. We're looking right around the time when we have like Mt. Gox. There was a lot of activity going on in Bitcoin. In 2017, we really had a good bull run. 2017, while Bitcoin was at around 900 at the beginning, just under 1,000, all of a sudden it started climbing. So 2017 was a massive growth period for the entire crypto market. It was when we had all the ICOs, we had all the activity going around with people getting into cryptocurrencies for the first time, and more and more people got involved. That actually led to quite a growth, and that growth peaked at when 2018 started. Actually, Bitcoin reached as high as 19,000, almost 20,000, but all of a sudden, people said the bubble burst. And then Bitcoin started plummeting in value. And everybody, a lot of the people, the early entrants, actually, the early entrants held on. They hodled, like the shirt says, keep calm and hodl. And that's the philosophy that I want to tell you. When you're in Bitcoin, Bitcoin is very volatile. Bitcoin rides a while, and the people that know Bitcoin simply hodl. They hold on for dear life. That's a very Bitcoin thing to know. So the key thing I want to tell you is that the price of Bitcoin actually started dropping after the 19,000 and actually stayed at the bottom price point 19,000 in 2019. So the key point I want to tell you is now we have a dramatic growth. And right now Bitcoin broke 50,000. As you saw, right now it's at 51,000. So for the people that actually looked at Bitcoin, they saw that the bubble burst in 19,000. They thought Bitcoin would never come back. They said it was over. It was the end of the ride. It was over. But what I got to tell you is this. Even the people that got in at 19,000 Today, that one Bitcoin that they got in at 19,000 is worth over $50,000. They more than doubled their money if they held on to the Bitcoins instead of getting scared and getting rid of it. So you see, in Bitcoin, when you buy cryptocurrencies, you ride the price and you don't actually turn it into cash or into like dollar amounts unless you sell it for a currency such as dollars or euros or yen, or you might be in Mexico, it might be pesos. The key point I want to tell you is this: when you get into Bitcoin, Bitcoin's price is as long as you can hold on to it. So the key point I want to tell you is that right now we're at $50,000. But where are we heading from here? And that's the key point that I want to tell you, because many people ask themselves, well, is this too late for me? I mean, if I would have gotten in when it was $900, it would have been great because now I'm at 50,000. But if I get in at 50,000, am I really just getting in at the top of a bubble that's going to burst and I'm going to lose it all? Well, ask yourself, what if you had gotten in at 19,000? How would you feel nowadays if it's at 50,000? You would have been so relieved that you got in at 19. Because at this point, at 50,000, 19 looks really, really cheap. And that's what I'm trying to tell you when you get into Bitcoin. You got to think long term. You got to think about how this rides. Let me give you a little bit of a view of what the analysts think on the price point of Bitcoin. In fact, JP Morgan thinks that the price of Bitcoin could rise to $146,000 per Bitcoin as it competes with gold. You think historically, people have actually parked their money in gold. They think it's like the most secure type of asset because it has the most stable price and it actually holds. But now some people are saying, well, you know what? Gold is not really growing. Yes, it might hold its value against the dollar, but Bitcoin's actually holding its value far better than gold. So some people are considering, instead of actually putting all their eggs in gold, taking some of their investments and actually parking them in Bitcoin. This is a great opportunity if you actually have the chance to get in on Bitcoin as well, especially if you're an early entrant. And can we say that this is not early entry? For all we know, 50,000 is dirt cheap compared to 146,000. Let's compare it to Citibank. Citibank predicts that the price may reach $318,000 per Bitcoin by the year 2021. So we're already looking at Citibank saying that even in this year, 2021, Bitcoin will break 300,000 and reach as high as 318,000. That's a very, very, very aggressive price growth, but those are analysts. That's their career. Citibank analysts actually think so. So the key point that I want to tell you is that at this precise moment, you have an opportunity. And the question is, you can make a decision. Do you want to get into Bitcoin? Do you want to wait it out? And the key point I want to tell you is, for most people, most people will not buy a full Bitcoin. It's $50,000 per Bitcoin, $51,000 per Bitcoin. You know, the average Joe doesn't have $1.5 billion like Elon does to get into Bitcoin. You might want to just buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. And I've created I have a very special offer for viewers of this channel. You can actually see the offer here on the screen, where you can actually get in on Bitcoin, buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. You can buy as little as $100, and you're going to get $10 extra Bitcoin just for making a purchase using this link here. So if you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, which lets you get in on the Bitcoin market, you can get an extra $10 worth of Bitcoin. It's a very secure, safe opportunity. It's actually done with Coinbase, one of the most reputable cryptocurrency exchanges. And it's a special invitation from George Levy to you for being a viewer of this channel. I hope you find this information valuable. I publish brand new videos every single week on blockchain, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrencies. And my goal is to help you take advantage of this incredible technology called blockchain, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrencies. As I always say every single week, we're changing the world one blockchain at a time.